This is huge. We just lost a legend, but the football gods might have just gift-wrapped the perfect replacement. I'm talking about a guy with 30 years of experience, a guy who has survived multiple regimes, and here is the kicker, a guy who has already been in the trenches with our head coach. The stars are aligning in Chicago, folks, and you need to hear this right now. If you want the Chicago Bears to build a dynasty that lasts for the next decade, do me a huge favor, smash that like button, share this with every Bears fan you know, and hit subscribe. We are building an army here, and I don't want you to miss a single second of the truth. Alright, let's get into it. We have to talk about the running back room. We have to talk about the coaching staff. And we have to talk about how a sudden firing in Miami might just be the best news the Bears have received all offseason. Here is the situation. We know we have a vacancy. We know we have to replace a heavy hitter. And literally days after we start asking, who could possibly fill these shoes, the Miami Dolphins go ahead and make a decision that drops a golden ticket right into our laps. Reports are confirming that Eric Studsville is officially available. Now, pause for a second. If you are a casual fan, you might hear that name and think, okay, who is that? But if you are a diehard, if you know the history of this league, your ears should be perking up. Eric Studsville isn't just a coach. He is an institution. We are talking about a man who has been in the NFL for nearly 30 years. He has seen it all. He has done it all. Let me break down why this specific availability is so shocking and so perfect for us. Studesville isn't bouncing around because he's bad at his job. He's bouncing around because regimes change, yet somehow, he always stays employed. That tells you something about his quality. He was with the Denver Broncos for 6 seasons. He survived head coaching changes there. Then he goes to Miami in 2017. Think about that. 2017 to 2024. In the NFL, that is a lifetime. He survived Adam Gase. He survived Brian Flores. He became the associate head coach under Mike McDaniel. Why does that matter? Because it proves he is adaptable, he is respected, and he produces results regardless of the chaos around him. But here is the connection that should have every Bears fan salivating. Do you know who else was in Miami during that time? Do you know who Studesville was grinding film with from 2017 to 2019? Our head coach, Ben Johnson. They overlapped for 3 seasons. They know each other. They speak the same language. When you are building a staff, you don't just want talent, you want trust. You want guys who don't need a translator to understand the vision. Ben Johnson knows Studesville. He knows what he brings to the table. And now that the Dolphins have decided to move in a different direction, hiring Ladell Betts to take over that room, Studesville is sitting there, a free agent, with a resume that screams Chicago. And let's be honest, doesn't it feel like fate? Brad Biggs reported just a few days ago that Studesville was a name to watch. At the time, we thought, maybe. Now, it feels inevitable. He started his coaching career with the Bears way back in 1997. He has skins on the wall. He has the connection to our head coach. So, I have to ask you this, and really think about it before you answer. Is there any other candidate on the market who checks every single box like Eric Studsville does, or are we overthinking this? Think about it. Experience. Check. Relationship with the HC. Check. Proven track record. Check. It seems like a slam dunk. But as we know in the NFL, nothing is done until the ink is dry. We still have to see if the Bears pull the trigger, or if they look at someone like Will Lawing. But if I were a betting man, I'd say the stars are aligning for a reunion in Chicago. But we can't talk about the new guy without addressing the elephant in the room. The exit. The departure of Eric Bieniemy. Look, losing Bieniemy hurts. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When you have a coach of his caliber in your building, you are a better football team. Period. He came in here, he worked with the running backs, and he brought that championship DNA that we so desperately needed. But we also knew the reality, didn't we? We knew Eric Bieniemy was overqualified. We knew he was a heavy hitter. And when the Kansas City Chiefs come calling, when Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid pick up the phone and say, "It's time to come home," you don't say no. Bieniemy did an interview today, and I want to share what he said because it really touched me. It wasn't your standard corporate thank you note. It felt real. He called the Bears a great organization. He said being here felt like home. Do you realize how significant that is? He was only here for a year. A single season. And yet, the culture that Ben Johnson has built made Eric Bieniemy, a guy who has won Super Bowls, feel like he was at home. He admitted it was a tough decision. He said it felt like he was leaving family. But he also was honest. He said, if Big Red picks up the phone, that's the only person where you say, it might be time to return home. I respect that. How can you not? He's going back to be the offensive coordinator for the best quarterback on the planet. It's a no-brainer promotion for him. But the fact that he struggled with the decision tells me everything I need to know about what is happening inside Hallis Hall. And that brings me to the question of the day, and I want you to flood the comments section with your honest thoughts on this one because it's a bit controversial. Do you feel betrayed by Eric Bieniemy leaving after just one season, or do you respect him more for seizing a Super Bowl opportunity with his old team? Let me know down below. Personally, I can't blame him. But it stings. It stings because we saw the potential. We saw what this staff was building. However, let's flip the perspective. Bieniemy leaving proves something massive. It proves that the Ben Johnson effect is real. Think about the timeline. Ben Johnson walks in the door. In 1 year, he completely flips the perception of this franchise. We went from a team that people laughed at, a team where coaches went to die, to a destination. We have assistant coaches like Richard Hightower saying, I tried to tell you all, this guy is special. We have Eric Bieniemy saying it felt like home. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because you have a leader who demands excellence and creates a culture where people want to be. And that is why I'm not panicking about Bieniemy leaving. Because the system, the culture, is bigger than one assistant coach. If Ben Johnson is the guy we think he is, and I believe he is, he will plug Studesville or whoever else into that spot, and the machine will keep rolling. We saw it on the field, didn't we? The discipline. The creativity. The way the players bought in. That is the Ben Johnson difference. And frankly, if our biggest problem is that our assistant coaches are so good that other teams want to hire them for promotions, that is a good problem to have. It means we are winning. It means we are relevant. Now, speaking of winning in the trenches, I have one more piece of breaking news that we need to celebrate. Joe Thuney. The man is a machine. We talk so much about Caleb Williams. We talk about the receivers. We talk about the flash and the dash. But none of that happens, none of it, without the guy standing guard in the middle. And finally, the league is taking notice. Joe Thuney has been named a finalist for the Protector of the Year award. He is one of 6 guys up for it. You have Garrett Bowles, Quinn Meinerz, Aaron Brewer, Creed Humphrey, Penei Sewell, and our guy, Joe Thuney. Now, I know Penei Sewell is a monster. I know Creed Humphrey is great. But look at what Thuney did for this team. Look at the context. We brought him in via trade, a masterstroke by Ryan Poles, by the way, and he instantly stabilized a line that had been a disaster for years. Think about the pockets Caleb Williams was working with this year compared to the past. The pressure rate dropped. The sack rate dropped. Was Caleb better at avoiding sacks? Absolutely. That's a QB stat. But you cannot tell me that having an all-pro caliber guard next to him didn't change his life. Thuney is the ultimate glue guy. He doesn't seek attention. He doesn't do the flashy dances. He just shows up, punches the clock, and walls off defenders for 3 hours. He makes the guys next to him better. He communicates the protections. He is the veteran presence that allows a rookie quarterback to feel safe. And the best part, he isn't slowing down. I know people worry about age. He is in his 30s now. But did he look old to you? Did he look slow? Absolutely not. Even on short weeks, even in high-pressure playoff situations, he was a rock. So, whether he wins the award or not, Joe Thuney is the Protector of the Year in my book. He protected our franchise quarterback. He protected our season. And he proved that you can trade for a veteran and get elite production if you target the right guy. So, where does that leave us? We have a vacancy at running back coach, but the perfect candidate in Eric Studsville is staring us in the face. We lost Eric Bieniemy, but his departure only confirms that we have built a culture worth poaching from. And we have Joe Thuney getting the national respect he deserves. The arrow is pointing up, folks. It is pointing all the way up. We are going to be tracking this Studesville situation hour by hour. If the Bears make the move, if they sign the contract, we will be the first to let you know. I will be back later this afternoon for our live show. We are going to take your questions. We are going to dig into some trade rumors involving Myles Garrett. Yeah, we need to talk about that, and we will break down everything else happening in the NFL. Until then, keep your head on a swivel. The news is moving fast. Smash that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. And as always, bear down.